And a lot of times I tell people stuff that I know is exactly what they should hear as opposed to what they would want to hear. You know what I mean? And a lot of times it's about eliminating what you think you are and being what you actually are. A lot of what you actually are is looking through supreme mathematics and I say, I bear witness to this principle. I bear witness to this principle in mathematics, right? I bear witness that my culture is only my lived understanding. So that means that if it's not right and exact, then it's something I should be working to get rid of my culture. Even if I'm doing it now, that's wrong. When I have the wherewithal to be comfortable knowing that this is not right and exact, and I'm working to get it out, right? Because it's not based on understanding, and understanding is based on only on knowledge, right?
But that's dope though. That you just said my culture is my lived understanding.
It's a lived understanding.
The lived understanding. So that kind of goes in line with freedom comes with 40 or more.
Freedom comes what?
Freedom comes with 40 or more.
Meaning,
like, you know mathematics? You know the mathematics?
Yeah, I'm capped at wisdom bills on 1 to 40.
Oh, yeah. So you all the way up there. Okay, so all right, so you got knowledge, wisdom, understanding. You got culture. Right? But, we have culture freedom. So, there's a saying in our nation that freedom comes with 40 or more. Right? The reason why, and like, as he just mentioned, like, your culture is your lived understanding. So at 39, it's like when your understanding is complete. You can completely see. And now that you can completely see, now your culture, what you live, can be free. Because you can see. Meaning that you won't run into this limitation right here. You keep going right here, like now you can see it, go around it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or go over it. So I can pick it up, whatever. Because you have the ability to see. Right? So it's understanding, as he said, the culture is your lived understanding.
Right, because when we look at it, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding is a mental process. Right? The culture, right, the power, the equality is the outer. You know what I mean? Your culture goes out. The power that you have comes from the culture you live. And that is a force that goes out. It brings forth an equality, right? A different reality of your surroundings, a proper position of where you are now.
It's different. Showing your power.
Right. So that's all outside. And then you get the fruit of it all. The greater, most supreme you has been revealed. Again, God, you change the reality around you, including yourself. That's build or destroy. And what? You fulfilled. You completed an elevated fulfillment. Okay?
What is existence?
I've been running into some confusion with understanding. I have my gods around, so I've been doing knowledge on myself. So if your wisdom is a reflection of your knowledge, I'm speaking what I've learned and stuff like that.
I wouldn't use the word reflection.
Okay.
I don't use the word reflection. It's a use of your knowledge. Give it a more active word.
Application of your knowledge?
It's an application. Okay. Definitely, that's a good word. You know what I mean? But it's the use of your knowledge. The truth is that no one will use knowledge. I could have the same knowledge as you, particular knowledge, and I still will use it differently than you would. So it matters how we use knowledge. That's the reason why we have different understandings.
So understanding that's the result.
Understanding really is that what I like to call revelation of purpose. It's the reason why you use that knowledge. What is the ultimate that you got out of it? Right? And it is unique to you because only you can have it. It could be similar. It will be similar to many other people. Okay. That's why we end up being alike minds. You know what I mean? But it is still special to you. Right? And so that understanding though is something based on people accumulating knowledge. A lot of times you don't even get understanding unless you've accumulated enough knowledge.
Right.
Right? Yeah. Because it has to compile itself first so it could be used in such a way. You know, most people expect knowledge to become things and they don't become anything because they haven't used it. You know, they haven't used enough, haven't collected enough. They don't know enough. You know what I mean?
Right.
Part of learning, especially this knowledge itself, is figuring out, being very good at figuring out what it is that you don't know. Right? How do you know what you don't know? You have to figure out what it is that you don't know. Right? And that takes work. Sometimes it just takes a blanket look, like the simple things. Visit a library, just look around. You know what I mean? You visit a library, you visit a bookstore, you start to see like, I'm not comfortable reading these books, but I don't know anything in there. I like these kind of books. I would like to learn more, but I'm comfortable reading those. Well, now you're gauging what you know and everything, right? You're the teacher and the student at all times, God. You're your own teacher. No matter what I tell you, you're deciding to learn because you have chosen to learn and said you should learn whatever's being told to you, right? So you're becoming your own teacher because you validate. You always remember that as being God, you validate who it is and what it is that you learn from. So you are always your teacher, your major teacher, and you're always your student because you are always learning, right? So these are the things, you know?
So you only learn what you teach yourself, right?
Yeah, because even if someone learns something from me, they still would have to accept that that is something worthy of learning.
Right.
And even then they would have to use it for themselves. They would have to wisdom it to see like, what is the relevance of it? What's the use of this? So let's say if somebody learned what I said and was saying it to someone else. It's like, he's just repeating what Sunni said. Yeah, I don't like it either. But if he does that, now he's going through a learning process in a different way because he's actually using it to say, I think this is true, what Sunni's told me, and I'm saying it to someone else because I think it's valid that this person could learn this too. And now he's getting an introduction to see how it is to share that information. So he's not using it the way I thought he should use it first and foremost, but it's still being wisdom, right? And there'll be an experience to it that can actually, that might lead to some type of understanding, you know? The reactions, sometimes the relevance of it. Did that person understand it or see it the way that he saw it when he heard it from me, right? So these are all things to gauge, you know? But I'm always, in general, God, I'm always teaching the student to have to refuse all limits, you know? To throw them down. That's why I said to have a disrespect for that, you know what I mean? That's the best respect that you could have for yourself. To continually tell you, it should be done, and I know that I can get it done. You know what I mean? And I don't let anything get in my way, you know what I mean? I could be, when I'm training, right, there are some times, right, like this happened recently, so it's in my head fresh. But one of the parts of my training, though, is I'll do, to make it faster, because I don't always have time to do, like, intense cardio. It takes time. So I'll do 50 burpees in 5 minutes. You know what I mean? Let's just do that. Right? And I was doing the burpee, and the shoulder was really getting pain. So the first thing that went in my head is, I can't do the burpees, you know what I mean? And I said, I need to do the burpees, though. Now I'm talking and countering and completely disrespecting. Well, the burpee is a landing on your hands into the push-up, right? So I thought, just like with a regular push-up, why don't I just land differently? Put my hand in a different way so that the shoulder gets a different type of impact. So I ended up landing with the hand like this. Diving down. Yeah, diving down so the shoulder gets a different impact. And it wouldn't hurt here, it was hurting here. It was getting the workout here and it wasn't hurting as much there. You know what I mean? And it still started to hurt. But by the time I got near the end, though, it stopped hurting. And I said, see, man, I don't even know why I worry about that. Just fix it. Just change it. You know what I mean?
Pushing through the limit.
Right. You know what I mean? Because it ought to be done and it should be done. It happens all the time, guy. I'll do certain exercises where I say, listen, I'm going to try to write 10 pages in less than an hour. You know what I mean? And I focus and I do it. You know what I mean? And a lot of times the motivation is that, listen, it needs to get done. I don't have time. You know what I mean? I want to do other things. If I do this, then I can do other things. You know what I mean? Right?
You must do your own research, as I did.
If Mecca did this.